your husband, was forced to defend you at his own conference. He was asked about this idea that you are now, there's a caricature that is forming of you because of a few things you've said, that you are wealthy and out of touch. And
well, you know,
is it your fault that the conversation has turned to that?
Let's say I shouldn't have said the, I think, 5 or so words that I said, but you know, my inartful use of those few words doesn't change who I am, what I've stood for my entire life, what I stand for today.
Okay, but it does tell us who she is. Welcome to Gimme 5, folks. That's Gwen Ifill, of course, interviewing Hillary Clinton on PBS yesterday. And this is part 1 of 2 in the Gimme 5 section of that interview. You know, she used these inartful words or expressions or descriptions not once, but twice. And then Bill Clinton actually said in defending her that she was technically correct. So it does, they're sticking to that they were broke, that they're not really rich, that, I mean, I don't care what you do and who you are, that's one thing. Yes, it is one thing. But you're still out of touch if you don't think you're rich and if you thought you were dead broke. I'm sorry. More.
Bill and I have had terrific opportunities. Both of us, you know, have worked hard, but we've been grateful for everything that we've been able to achieve. And sadly, that's just not true for most Americans today. So many Americans are feeling, you know, shut out, shut down. The Great Recession hasn't ended for too many Americans. Wages are flat, families are struggling, not enough new jobs or new businesses are being created.
Yeah, well, whose fault is that? Are you knocking the Obama economic policies? Is that what Hillary's doing? She just talked about an economy that after almost 6 years stinks. So is she blaming Barack Obama? Because I'd love to hear that. Those words come out of her mouth. She's going to have to distinguish herself from Obama on so many issues. But it sounded like she was, but until she says it, she's really not. And then she doesn't like this analogy or comparison. Watch.
And it's important that we all try to figure out what we're going to do. And that's what I've done my entire life, fighting for a higher minimum wage or family leave, now paid family leave, which I believe in, equal pay for equal work. I have a very long record. So, you know, my attitude about this, Gwen, is that if others want to, you know, take things out of context or try to, you know, create some caricature.
But it sticks sometimes.
Well,
ask Mitt Romney.
Well, that's a false equivalency.
Oh, don't be calling me Mitt Romney. You see, he's an evil, rich Republican. Or let me rephrase that. He's a rich Republican, so he's evil. I'm a rich Democrat, so I'm good-hearted. You see, no, don't go there with Mitt Romney, Gwen. That doesn't fly. Republican, evil, rich. Me, Democrat, rich, nice. Get it? Remember that, Gwen. All right, more.
What I meant by Mitt Romney is there's a bubble problem sometimes when you can be cut off from people in a regular way. And George H.W. Bush, you remember, had that with a gallon of milk. How do you avoid that?
Well, I think if you come from where I came from and where I have always been, you know, I've always been reaching out and, you know, whether it's talking with our neighbors or, you know, going shopping or standing, you know, talking to people in these bookstores and hearing what's on their minds, or even the work I did for 8 years as a senator to bring new jobs to New York and stand up for the people I represented. And frankly, as I traveled around as Secretary of State, as I write in the book, part of what I was trying to do was to figure out ways to create more jobs at home by standing up against the unfair competition and the barriers to American businesses that hurt American workers.
She's done it all. Now, I love that, you know, she goes shopping, and Bill Clinton said they go to the grocery store. Look, I'm sorry. I'd like to know how many times they both together been to the grocery store. It just doesn't fly. You know, it just doesn't seem right. All right, now about the apology that sticking up for her as Bill Clinton did. Here's what she had to say.
My husband was very sweet today, but I don't need anybody to defend my record. I think my record speaks for itself.
Whoa, whoa. My husband's really sweet, but I didn't need him to stick up for me. He did, to me, he didn't do so good sticking up for you. To me, he said you were right. That's what he said. You don't want that kind of sticking up because it only makes it worse on the Steve Malzberg Show.